William is a 16-1 10-year-old Dutch warmblood who has previously competed with an amateur rider in riding horse classes nationally and up to elementary in dressage. He has been based at a livery yard for 1.5 years, where he has ridden 6 times a week, involving hacking, schooling and 1 jump session. He is primarily used for low-level dressage, competing in a few competitions at novice. The overall goal for William is to become more relaxed through collection. His previous owners largely relied on the use of training aids throughout William's training. However, the pressure was applied incorrectly, resulting in William becoming very anxious and tense when ridden, whilst also having a tendency to brace himself and rush. Due to his sensitivity, he becomes increasingly stressed when unclear aids are given. Therefore, he's ridden in spurs to improve the precision of the aids. Although for some, this use of stimulant is controversial, they are not necessarily contraindicated, with McLean et al. In 2010 stating that spurs can be used minimally with precision as a mild signal to reinforce the rider's leg signals. Conformation determines the balance of the horse's body, therefore making it likely to be linked to overall efficiency in locomotive movement and longevity of the horse's athletic career. Conformationally, William is best suited to dressage. He has an upright pastern with the angle largely varying from his shoulder angle. Ross in 2003 stated that the angle of the pastern is a key factor in determining the load on the limbs. It has also been documented that a more upright pastern creates a shorter stride. William also lacks core strength due to not working correctly over his back with correct hind end engagement. Dyson in 2016 suggests that without adequate core strength, limbs can become dysfunctional, increasing the chance of injury. As observed, William has slightly straighter hocks than the ideal. This will have a direct effect on his ability to push from behind. Clayton in 2006 stated that an extended joint angle will have a negative effect on performance. Positive reinforcement involves the addition of a pleasurable stimulus following a behaviour, therefore making it more likely for this behaviour to occur again. Negative reinforcement involves the removal of an aversive stimulus following a behaviour, therefore making it more likely for this behaviour to occur again. Positive reinforcement has often been poorly administered in horse training due to the overestimation of equine cognitive abilities. For example, horse people have commonly praised their horses, believing this action is reinforcing, whereas, unless paired with a primary positive reinforcer, it is pointless. In addition, people commonly believe that patting horses are rewarding for the horse. However, the recent work of Thorbergson et al. In 2015 found that wither scratching is more rewarding than patting. Similarly, Hancock found in 2014 that wither scratching resulted in affiliative behaviour, whereas patting resulted in acceleration in ridden horses. Inez and McBride in 2008 found a significant difference between horses trained in 2 different training schedules. With the measurements being recorded in the latter stage of the trial, the results suggested that the subjects trained under a positive reinforcement schedule were more motivated to participate in the program and showed more exploratory behaviours in new environments and situations. Negative reinforcement was used throughout this program in the form of leg aids, which are enhanced by using spurs. When William responded correctly to the leg aid, the pressure was removed. Duretsky in 1994 stated that negative reinforcement can strengthen a desired behavioural response, with Perrone also stating in 2003 that it can be a strong method of training if done correctly and providing that the rider removes the aversive stimulus when the horse performs the desired response. Positive reinforcement was also used in the form of scratches. When William reacted correctly to the rider's aids, he was rewarded with a scratch. Duretsky in 1994 claimed that positive reinforcement strengthens the behavioural response when its performance is rewarded with a pleasant outcome. Due to William's previous training being tainted by the incorrect and severe use of training aids in an attempt to reach the desired goal quicker, he has developed many bad habits, including head tossing. For this reason, I started my program by lunging him. This was to assess these habits without any rider influence. Both the rider and trainer were unfamiliar of the horse, therefore lunging was also used to improve this relationship before the training program began. As stated by Hill, in 1998 it develops added confidence and familiarity between horse and trainer, therefore setting a base for upcoming learning. Due to William's hypersensitivity to stimuli, any training aids were found to be contraindicatory to the goal of relaxation, with Hall et al. In 2011 finding a significant increase in eye and core temperatures when horses were lunged in a Pessoa compared to without. It was also important to fully understand the horse's behaviour and gait without any factors that would alter this. When the lunging began, William appeared very alert and tense, which is shown when the white of the eye could be seen, with Borstal et al. In 2009 understanding this as a clear validated sign of stress. When originally asked to move from walk to trot, William bolted, with the handler struggling to calm him. However, as the session went on, William visibly relaxed through his work, allowing the handler to work through transition work and onto pole work. When he first performed the poles, William was seen to take off. Once again, he appeared to settle as his exercise went on. However, despite him showing increased relaxation, he continued to largely exaggerate his gait. Due to being trained in draw reins, he lacks hind end musculature and propulsion. For this reason, ground poles were used to encourage him to work over his back, increasing the bend in his joints and achieving improved overall flexibility. With Goff and Stubbs in 2007 stating that ground poles can be used to cultivate self-control, elasticity, coordination, focus, balance, strength, suppleness, and the strengthening of propulsive muscles. When William arrived, there were many signs supporting the idea that he'd been incorrectly trained. He had a very hard mouth and often hyperflexed his neck without engaging his hind end, suggesting that he'd been pulled into a forced outline. Despite the FEI in 2009 stating that the head should be slightly in front of the vertical, with a supple pole and lack of resistance, many riders and trainers continue to ride in rollcur, with Weirin et al. In 2006 reporting that hyperflexion is believed to decrease stride length and increased elevation of the hind limbs, whilst also increasing the dorsoventral oscillation of the lumbar vertebrae. For this reason, large amounts of this session were aimed at getting him to work long and low over his back, whilst remaining in a relaxed rhythm. Some horses habituate to a stimuli when it is applied for an increased period of time, whereas William has become hypersensitive to certain stimuli, with McGreevy and McLean in 2010 finding that constant unrelenting bit pressure can prompt hyperreactive behaviours. Through William's ridden work, there are clear signs of stress and emotional discomfort. However, this is believed to be a remembered pain, as he is now ridden very sympathetically. A large indicator is the white of his eye, which is clearly observed in the video, with Borstal et al. In 2009 identifying it as a clear sign of stress. A number of studies performed by Haleski et al. In 2009 also assessed horses' postures, including head and ear posture, as potential indicators of their emotional states. To begin this session, the rider worked the horse on a long rein to get the horse more aware of his leg and seat aids. The rider utilised the horse's previous training and lateral work to aid his training. Shoulder in to a transition to canter left was then performed to improve engagement in transition and to sustain the engagement throughout the canter. At the start of this session, the horse showed unwillingness to the rider's aids and lacked engagement and forwardness. After speaking with the rider, we decided for him to make a conscious effort to build up the trust and relationship to therefore be able to sustain a level-headed horse. Once the sensitivity of this horse was understood by the rider, the session continued to improve very well. Throughout the strides of medium trot, the rider had control of both sides of the horse, and the horse was settled into the contact, allowing the rider to ride more forward through riding a few bigger trot strides to help keep impulsion in the working trot. The session was then ended on a big working trot, allowing the horse to come out of the wither with engagement.
got a lot to think about. You've got a lot of power. Push them off the left leg. Well done. Body away from the left arm. Well done. Steady. For a moment, just for a moment, it's just a fraction. Good. Then pick him back up in the right leg. Shoulder in a little bit more. That's it, okay. Good. No faster. No faster. No faster. Good. Good. Now keep it going through your first corner, Elliot. Keep the shoulder coming in. Keep the shoulder coming in. Left hind leg under. Good. Left hind leg under. Now straighten him. Sit. Keep your left arm. Good. No faster. Put left hind leg away there. Well done. Well done. Well done. They were good.
Lateral movements were a key method used during this training programme. Cold in 2011 claimed that they put specific strains on the horse's body, with the horse moving on two tracks whilst bent equally during shouldering. Shouldering requires the horse to stretch their limbs and remain flexible. Its use as a dynamic stretch has anecdotal evidence to prove the positive changes it makes to their biomechanics due to the increase in joint range of motion.
As you approach, now, left strike, yeah? Show me resistance of, yeah? You felt that coming, you should have pushed him. No, no, he's behind you. He's behind you. Stay in front of the leg. Stay in front of the leg. Very good, very good, very good. Well tried, Elliot. Very good. Good. Now he's alive and awake. Right, get your toe up if you can, Elliot. Look ahead. Look at the gallery. Right hand a bit to the gallery. Look at the mountain block. Look at the road. Right hand. Try turning your heart to the doors. Well done. A little bit more. Steady. Your right.
Overall, I think William reacted very well to the training programme and responded to all the different methods used, with a clear improvement in his relaxation.